NCHBA members, this is Chris Millis, Director of Regulatory Affairs, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to share with you good news regarding the passage of the Regulatory Reform Act of 2023, which is embodied in the legislative vehicle of House Bill 600. Since gaining the majority in 2011, GOP leaders have been deliberate in their effort to field concerns from the regulated community to address unnecessary and overburdensome regulations hindering our state economy. Given the opportunity to advance meaningful reforms on the regulatory front, your legislative and regulatory affairs team here at NCHBA worked to bring momentum behind a number of significant regulatory reform provisions contained within House Bill 600. While House Bill 600 was first introduced in the House back in April and passed through the Senate back in June, it was not until the late hours of last night and into this morning before the two legislative bodies adopted the final version of the bill. As a result, we are pleased to report that House Bill 600 has been submitted to the governor for review, where he can choose to sign it, veto it, or let it become law without his signature after 10 days. A special thank you to the House and Senate sponsors of the Regulatory Reform Act of 2023, which include Representative Dennis Rydell, Jeff Singer, Mark Brody, Alan Chesser, and Senator Norm Sanderson, Todd Johnson, Paul Newton, Bill Rabin, and Senator David Craven. Please note that several provisions within House Bill 600 included modifications to stormwater-related statutes. Specifically, the bill included provisions aimed at local governments across the state that have attempted to regulate existing impervious in a manner to thwart previous legislative intent behind providing full credit for all existing impervious that was in place prior to stormwater regulations. Provisions in the bill also include an effort to restrain state stormwater officials from claiming that developers must capture and treat stormwater within a state or municipal right-of-way. These provisions were needed to establish a bright line between the responsibility of a private developer to capture and treat stormwater on their property from development activities associated with a project that are truly off-site. Another stormwater provision in House Bill 600 requires that state stormwater regulators allow new applicants to be able to develop without being encumbered by an existing stormwater permit on a neighboring property, and to allow state regulators to rescind a stormwater permit that has not been developed within 5 years. Many in our industry have been prevented by state regulators from receiving a new stormwater permit due to alleged issues with an existing stormwater permit on a neighboring property, while others have been significantly delayed from getting a new stormwater permit due to an expired permit that just so happens to impact their subject property. Another important topic in the bill involves the major issue in our industry concerning the current lack of available wastewater capacity in many areas across the state. While back in June, we shared with you the good news that Senate Bill 673, advanced by Senate Majority Leader Paul Newton, was passed in an effort to cause a reduction in the wastewater demand volume for dwelling units from 120 to 75 gallons per day per bedroom, which would help free actual wastewater capacity. But unfortunately, some utility providers attempted to circumvent the intended reduction through nuances in the drafting of the original bill. In response, we are grateful for lawmakers, particularly the efforts of Senator Newton, to clarify the original intent behind Senate Bill 673 through an addition to the House Bill 600 that makes it clear for permitting of new dwelling units, utility providers shall permit these units at 75 gallons per day per bedroom. Please note that there are several other important provisions in House Bill 600 for the benefit of our industry, and I encourage you to read further about those provisions in the recently released regulatory report. Thank you so very much for your time and attention concerning the good news of the Regulatory Reform Act of 2023 passing the legislature today. We at NCHBA are grateful for the opportunity to fight for the home building industry, and we look forward to advancing additional future reforms to continue the reduction of unnecessary and overburdensome regulations.